It's even weird by the standards of other religions, and we know that they're weird. But they believe in some stuff that is demonstrably, you can prove that it's not true. I mean, you can't prove about Jesus, it was 2,000 years ago, but Joseph Smith, the prophet of Mormonism, lived less than 2 centuries ago. And he was, excuse me, a con man. And he did preach some really weird stuff that you can prove is not true, like the Mormons believe that the Indians, the American Indians, are a lost tribe of Israel. Well, DNA testing shows that is not true.
Now, Bill Maher has several issues with Mormonism, but he, unfortunately, like many, has made the mistaken claim that DNA evidence proves our religion wrong. This is not the case. To start with, let's make a review of a little bit of our understanding of DNA. First off, we have the nucleus in the cell, the chromosomes. That's where most people think of the DNA being. Well, there's not just DNA in the nucleus, there's also DNA in what is called the mitochondria. That's the power plant of the cell. Now, DNA in the mitochondria and DNA in the chromosome has some distinctions. DNA in the mitochondria is passed through maternal lineages. That means you have your mDNA, as it's called by some. You have your mitochondrial DNA from your mother, your biological mother. Whether you're a boy or a girl, you received it from your mother. And then within the nucleus, there's another specialized chromosome, and that's the Y chromosome. That is only passed on through males because only males have a Y chromosome. That means that if you are a man, your Y chromosome is from your biological father. And your biological father received his from his biological father, and so on down the line. Why, you might ask, are we going over this? What's the deal with this mitochondrial DNA or Y chromosome DNA? Well, truth be told, these are the only DNA evidences that have really been tested to any conclusive position regarding the Mormon claims of ancestry for the Native Americans coming from the Israelites. That is, but hopefully more simply, the only thing that's been tested is the strictly matriarchal or patriarchal lines. I hope to demonstrate the foolishness of this with a demonstration. We'll use these 2 jelly beans here as a representation of mitochondrial DNA and Y chromosome DNA, and they're correlating lines as you go back several generations. So, as we zoom out, you'll see there's the mother and father. And as we go off to the father's side, all the way back there, off to the mother's side, all the way back there. So, this jelly bean is the father's father, and that one is the father's father's father, and so on. There's the mother's mother, and so on. Now, I'm going to fill in this whole gap with all of the other DNA jelly beans, as it were. Now it's going to get a little bit more interesting. As you can see, I've marked up the board around our 2 initial jelly beans. Again, the black one is the Y chromosome, representing Y chromosome, and the little speckled one here is representing our mitochondrial lineage. And I have, in this little circle, showing our symbolic matriarchal line going back, and around the orange line, our symbolic patriarchal paternal line going back. Now again, remember, this is all that they wanted tested on. Now we're going to zoomed out. I told you I would fill in the middle, but I haven't filled it in all the way. There's a big gap in the middle here that I haven't filled in yet. All that I've put here are the strictly either patriarchal on this side or strictly matriarchal lines that continued until they ran into our dominant line. So each one of these different color lines represents a matriarchal line that was cut off directly at some point by the matriarchal line we have here. So this is, all in all, this covers 8 generations. Within 8 generations, we have cut off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Directly, we've cut off 6 matriarchal lines that spanned all the way back. And same with the Y chromosome DNA. Each one of those lines has been cut off by, on this side, our black jelly bean chromosome, and on this side, our mitochondrial chromosome. Now, I'm going to just kind of dump some jelly beans on here to give you an idea of how many people are missing in the middle. The quantity of ancestors that are not being considered when people claim that DNA evidence has disproven Mormon doctrinal and historical claims. So here we are. We're about ready to have a little demonstration as to what's missing in the middle of all of the genetic heritages that are missing from what I've represented here just with these lines. Let's say I just put a handful of jelly beans there. Yeah, let's pretend that those are evenly spaced out where they're supposed to be. That's a lot of jelly beans. Yeah, nope, that's not how many are being cut off. Other than that. So let's say what's out here represents what was in the Americas before any of the Nephite or the Lost Tribe people were claimed to have been here. And of course, this would be several generations beyond. It wouldn't be merely 8 generations, but it would be a great many more. And so you can multiply all of these jelly beans and more by how many generations we would go back. So let's say one of the groups is well, in the Book of Mormon, the Mulekites came across, and they came roughly from the land of Israel, though we don't know if they all were actually of Israelite descent and had Israelite DNA. But let's just throw the Mulekites into the mix there. And number-wise, for just 8 generations, we're not there yet. That's a lot of jelly beans, a lot of Mulekites. And then there's also the Lamanites and Nephites, which were green jelly beans. Now, let's say these people came in, and none of their seed on the mitochondrial side or on the Y chromosome side ended up surviving. Now, you still get DNA material from all your ancestors, no matter where they are in this whole span. But you only get your Y chromosome if you're a man from this side. You only get your mitochondrial DNA from this side. The rest of your chromosome can have pieces ranging from all over in here. They haven't tested that. Not yet. It's too expensive. Someday, we may have it all mapped out. We may be cheap enough. It may be cheap enough for us to test all these people. But until then, you could have all of these white and green elements in your genome if you were Native American that could be from the House of Israel, but none of them would show up on the current DNA tests. It's a lot of ancestors. It's a lot of Israelite ancestors. But yet, your Y chromosome checked, oh, nope. Mitochondrial DNA checked, nope. But you can have this big swath. Again, imagine this was all ordered out properly where things should be. So that's pretty crazy that Bill Maher would make this claim. that it's been demonstrably proven to be wrong, when the only thing that's been proven is that this single line and this single line don't have connections to people that they believe were also descended from the line of Israel. Pretty crazy.